Speak Your Truth, fam. This is your girl, Yana Positive. Welcome back to another episode of Speak Your Truth, The Untold. If you're new to the program, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Share with someone who needs the encouragement, someone who needs the inspiration, someone who needs the motivation. Here at Speak Your Truth, we create an airy space, inspirational, relatable, empowering, and elevating. Today, I have with me somebody very, very special. His name is Dale Honeyghan. He's a musician, he's a spoken word artist, he's a choir director, keyboardist, a keyboardist, a choir director at Dunamis SDA Adventist Church. Welcome, Dale. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
We thank Dale for coming on to this platform. Dale, you are somebody that is so immersed in the arts. I mean, you're doing so much. You are so much. You're singing. Well, you're a musician, you're a poet, you do spoken word. There's so much you're doing, and you're somebody that's so immersed in this art. So we want to ask, how is it that this started?
I noticed you corrected yourself quickly when you said singing. that's one thing that I don't do. But how it started is it was just a blessing. Like, now I look at it as a blessing that my father was actually a music teacher. He was a musician, and so as long as I've known myself, I've been playing music. I learned how to read music when I was young. He's really into classical music and that kind of thing. So I had to wake up in the morning and I had to run my scales and I had to play my pieces. And that was before school, and after school I had to do it again. And so it's something that I had to do. It wasn't a choice. Me and my siblings, we all had to do it. And funnily, I didn't love music. I loved music, but I didn't love to play it. I didn't love what I was doing in terms of playing. It was just something that I had to. It was like a chore. And yeah, it wasn't until, so I lived with him until I was in like grade 5. So from birth to 5, I was playing classical stuff and that kind of thing. But I stopped living with him after that, and I stopped playing altogether because now I have to do it. So now I was totally free. And it wasn't until like 4th form that I started to pick it up back and I started to play a little. And I remember like I would like learn some popular song, maybe a Chris Brown, and I play it at school, and then the girls would always hear it and come around and start singing, and I was like, okay. So I go home and I learn a kneel, and I come and I play it the next day and thing, and that's how I started to play it back. And then
the girls inspired
you. Yep. And then I learned to play by ear, and that is when I really developed a love for playing the piano. And that's when I would spend hours on it, just practicing it. You couldn't take me off of the piano. And yeah, never look back from that.
We can definitely relate to that, because you said that your father woke you up to play music in the morning, and so many of us, we have religious parents that wake us up to worship, and some of us have parents who think that hard work is farming, so you wake up in the morning and you have to go tie out goat. So it's something that you do not appreciate in the moment, but in hindsight, later on down in life, you'll realize that, well, this was for my betterment, this was for my own good. Definitely. If it is that you were supposed to sell your music to somebody, how would you describe it?
My music, so I do a number of different things, right? So most of what I do is religious in nature. I do some gospel. I also have studied classical music. I went to college and studied classical music, and my college, NCU, is known for not just classical music, but we do a lot of Negro spirituals and Jamaican spirituals and pieces that kind of mix the gospel world with the classical world. So my music is just kind of a mix of all the things that I grew up listening to and loving, which is gospel, classical, jazz, and that kind of thing. So it's just my spin on putting those different roles together.
Oh, wow. And by you talking, we know you have a very unique way of presenting your music and presenting your poetry. I mean, if it is that the dog wants in on the interview, it's fine. If that's fine. If it is that we're supposed to hear your music, we'll be able to identify it without even knowing that you were the one who wrote it. All right, so what is your creative process like? Take us through the mind of Dale Honeyghan.
All right, so you have writing and then you have arranging, right? Mm-hmm. Writing is like creating a song from scratch. Arranging is like a song that already exists and you put your own spin to it. For writing, I notice a lot of persons, they may write the words first and then put a melody to it or tune to it. For me, the music always comes first. So, and not like intentionally, that's just how it works for me. So I might put together a progression and have a little melody over it. And then once I find that musical idea that I like, somehow the words just always just come that kind of fit that melody or fit that progression. So the hardest part for me is always just finding that initial musical idea that I like or that really speaks to me. Remember, so I have a song out now called Stones, and it was originally written for NCU's. It was originally written for NCU's graduation in 2015. And I remember the graduation committee, they came to me about maybe like April or May, asking me to write the song. And I was trying, but the idea didn't come until about maybe June. And once that first idea came to me, I probably wrote the rest of the song in maybe 15 minutes or so.
Oh, and that's so unique because, as you said, a lot of persons, they write the words first and then the tune eventually comes. But for you, it's the melody, it's a tune, and then the words come. And that's a very unique process. I know you have a song, Thank You for Loving Me, that you perform with Surrender. Take us back to what inspired the words of those songs.
Okay, so Thank You. I wrote that song. That's the first gospel song I ever wrote, really. But it wasn't produced, it wasn't recorded until summer of this year. When I wrote it back then, the idea came from a movie. There's a movie called Swordfish, and it kind of summarized what it is. It's pretty much, you have good guys, you have the bad guys. The bad guys were robbing a bank and took it hostage. And then the good guy, the main character, was outside with the rest of the police officers trying to get in, trying to find a way to, rectify the situation. Now, there around the perimeter of the building were like explosives, but nobody knew at first. And then the police officers decided that they're going to just go in. And the main character realized that the explosives were there and he told them not to go in, but they didn't listen to it. And they just went ahead and, why didn't y'all just listen to the guy? But it made me think about my own Christian experience, because God knows the end from the begin from the end. He knows me better than I know myself. So when he tells me these things and I don't listen, I'm being just like those police officers that I'm being like, why didn't I just listen? That's me, right? So the first line of the song says, so many times I fell before. I turned my back on you. I knew the right, yet I still did wrong. right, is right after I watched the movie. I was just thinking about it, and I just took up the pen and paper and just wrote it. And yeah, I wrote the song, and the end of the song, but the main idea of the song is that despite the many times that we fall and the many times that we act dumb and disobey, he still loves us. And he still is trying to guide us into the right way. So the end of the song, it says, "Thank you for loving me. I want to thank you for loving me. Even when I fell down, your loving arms hugging me. I want to thank you for loving me." So I'm just really glad that this year I got to produce it. One of the singers, so Surrender is a group that I used to have, they're no longer active. But one of the singers just out of the blue sent me a voice note singing the song. I was saying, yeah, we really should have done something with this song. And so I got the members together just for this project. We were able to record it and put it out, and I'm glad it's out so everybody can be blessed by it.
Awesome. And it's such an amazing, inspiring song. Of course, I'll put the link in the description below so you can go check it out. I play it on repeat. It just reminds me that God loves me no matter what. And even sometimes I don't feel it, he's there and he's loving me and he's showing me the right way. So I really, really love that song. And I just want to share with you guys to just go out and check it out because it's a really good song. I mean, Dale, you've done so much, but what's on the agenda next for you? What's next for you?
Song called Walls. Now, Walls is something very different from the ones that I put out so far. It was recorded, it was sung by Shahaya from NCU. It is an example of that classical meet gospel type of vibe that I spoke about earlier. And it's speaking about the Israelites and the Jericho walls. So that's coming out very soon. I want y'all to look out for that. As we say, right now, I'm just trying to master the step that I'm on, which is
definitely
what I'm doing now is I'm paying for churches in New York and establishing myself in the New York church scene. So I'm doing that. I don't know what's next, but fortunately, how my life has been so far is every step that I've been on has opened doors next, right? So right now I'm just trying to conquer this step and master it, and see what God has in store for me moving forward.
And of course, guys, we look forward to Dale's Honeyghan Walls by Shahai. So I'm gonna ask you to go over to his channel at Dale AM. Ensure you click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when he upload his next video. Thanks for coming in, Dale. Before you go, we have one last question. What advice would you give to somebody who would want to pursue the path of arts? Whether it's music, whether it's poetry, they don't want to get their work out there.
All right. So, artists, your art is always something that's kind of vulnerable because it's like a reflection of you, right? And so I know a lot of times persons are reluctant to really put their art out there. They're afraid of if people won't like it or if it'll be criticized or that kind of thing. I would say the first thing you have to do is you have to really work on your craft because you want to be good at whatever you do. So you have to really spend the time, whether it's studying the history of it, practicing, speaking to persons that are in the field, really working on the craft, right? That's one. Two, you have to find the courage to really put your work out there and be willing to be criticized. Some persons will love it, some people will hate it, some people may give you pointers and so forth. So you have to be open to that criticism. But once you are good, once you get good at it, you will find your audience, right? Maybe everybody won't like it, but you will have an audience out there. So you just have to keep pushing, and people will catch on to it. Support is everything. So you have to have some people in your corner that will support you, that will share it, send it out, that kind of thing. Support is crucial. I've learned so much about support since I've been putting out projects. So that's crucial. And yeah, keep at it, keep working, keep learning. Never be satisfied. You can always get better. And find persons in the field to talk to, work on the craft. And yeah, it'll be great. It's a great journey when you find those persons that are really inspired by it. Nothing's better than that.
So thank you for coming in, Dale. You're an inspiration to our youths, to people who want to put their art out there. And we give thanks for that inspiration. Thank you for gracing our platform with your presence. Thank you for just coming to talk to us about your music. And as we go, I just want you guys to remind you guys again to like, share, and subscribe to not only Speak Your Truth, but go over to Dale AM and like, share, and subscribe as well. All right. Thanks for coming, Dale.
No problem. Thank you.